Hello everyone. Welcome to Unit 4, Government Macroeconomic Policy. Now this is a very important unit because it looks at the solutions normally used by the government when it is confronted with economic problems. This unit has two portions, two sections. The first section is financial markets, monetary and fiscal policy. In this section, we shall look at how problems are resolved using policies available to the government. This particular section starts with an introduction to everybody's favorite topic, money. Okay. It looks at the source of money, where it comes from, and the different types of money available in the market. For example, bonds are considered money. Bonds can be a short-term money, or it can be a long-term money, because it all depends on what is the definition of money. Now, the units will give you a better understanding of the various definitions of money. One of the functions of money is it can be used to store wealth. If you have ₦1,000,000 in your bank account, you can tell people that you have ₦1,000,000, and that would be your wealth. So that is one of the functions of money. We will also be looking at the financial system in a country, a financial system in Malaysia, for example. And when we analyze the financial system, we will be looking at all the financial intermediaries in the country. We will be looking at banks, insurance, leasing and factoring companies. We shall be looking at offshore banks. We shall be looking at foreign banks, finance companies, Islamic banks, and whatnot. These form part of the financial system of a country. We shall be looking at the role of the central bank in Malaysia, Bank Negara Malaysia, because one of the crucial functions of the central bank in Malaysia is to perform the monetary policy. Now, the monetary policy is a policy used by the central bank to control the supply of money in the market. The policy is used to increase the supply of money or reduce the supply of money in order to influence interest rate. Now, how does that happen? The units will tell you further. Now, when a demand for money increases, people would have to line up at the bank to borrow money, for example. And borrowing money from the bank will deplete the amount of money that the bank has. Therefore, the banks would have to increase its interest rate to discourage people from borrowing. So therefore, when the demand for money increases, interest rate will also increase. So that is an example of an explanation of how monetary policy works. You will need to understand fiscal policy. Now, fiscal policy is a policy used by the government, not the banking system. And what the government does is the government will control its expenses as well as its taxation system in order to control what we did in Unit 3, which is aggregate demand, aggregate supply. Now, when aggregate demand, aggregate supply changes, the general price in the market will also change. The output in the market will also change. The income earned in the market or in the country also changes. That's why fiscal policy is very important. To give you an example of a fiscal policy, the Malaysian government would normally announce the federal budget towards the end of the year, and the budget is for next year. So whatever that is announced in the federal budget will fall under the umbrella of fiscal policy, because the federal budget looks at how much to spend in the next year, that's expenses, and looks at how much to earn next year, and that's the taxation part. Okay? Now that is a basic introduction to fiscal policy. Now the second part of this unit looks at inflation and unemployment. Although we have done a little bit of inflation and unemployment in Unit 3, this will be done in a little bit deeper, a better understanding of inflation and better understanding of unemployment. But the most important thing here is the fact that Unemployment and inflation are always considered the twin devils of economics. The reason is, in the process of trying to solve one problem, inflation for example, you make the other problem worse. So to understand this phenomena better, you will be exposed to what we call the Phillips Curve. The Phillips Curve look at the adverse or the negative, the inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. As inflation goes up, unemployment goes down. As unemployment goes up, inflation goes down. So when you solve one, you cannot solve the other. I hope you enjoyed reading this unit because it will give you an excellent understanding of the Malaysian economy. Now I shall see you in the last unit, Unit 5. Thank you.